welcome to the deep dive. You know, we often spend so much time looking outside ourselves for problems, for obstacles, things holding us back.
Right. The external challenges.
Exactly. But what if the biggest challenge, maybe our most formidable opponent, isn't out there at all? What if, like so many thinkers, philosophers, psychologists, spiritual teachers have suggested, our first real enemy is actually, well, us, ourselves?
It sounds like a big paradox, doesn't it?
It really does.
But it's an idea that once you really grapple with it, can be incredibly freeing, transformative even.
So that's really our mission in this deep dive, isn't it? To unpack what this enemy within thing actually means.
Precisely, and maybe more importantly, how understanding it, how engaging with that internal dynamic can actually unlock, real personal growth, healing, and help us genuinely thrive.
Yeah, finding that path to thriving. That's why we've pulled together insights from, well, a whole range of perspectives for you.
Yeah.
Think of it as a sort of curated shortcut to getting a handle on this powerful, sometimes confusing idea.
Okay, so if this enemy isn't some villain out there, where is it? What are we actually talking about?
Good question.
It's really in those internal struggles, isn't it? Those doubts that kind of nag at you, whispering maybe you're not quite good enough. And those really negative ways we sometimes see ourselves, they can genuinely hold us captive. It's not about external threats, fundamentally. It's the battles inside our own heads.
Like that fear that pops up telling you, don't go for that promotion or don't start that project.
Exactly. Or a limiting belief you picked up somewhere that says, oh, I'm just not a creative person. Those are the kinds of manifestations we mean.
So these specific internal fights, the fears that can just stop us in our tracks, those beliefs we don't even realize we have sometimes.
Yeah, the subconscious ones.
And the emotional barriers that, let's be honest, stop us from really showing up as our best selves. It's often a very private, very silent kind of struggle.
It is. And what's really interesting, the key to actually navigating these internal battles isn't about fighting harder necessarily. It's something more subtle.
Okay.
It's self-awareness. That's the foundation, the absolute cornerstone of personal development.
So what does that actually mean, self-awareness, in this context?
It means really knowing yourself. And not just the good parts, your strengths, but also your weaknesses, your blind spots. Knowing your core values. And fundamentally, understanding how your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, actually impacts how you act and how you interact with everyone around you.
Right. And this is where it gets, well, maybe a bit challenging for people. Because that kind of honest look inward, that deep dive into yourself, it really demands vulnerability, doesn't it?
Absolutely. A radical kind of vulnerability sometimes.
It's definitely not always comfortable facing those truths. But it seems essential if you actually want to grow.
It is essential. And interestingly, there's research backing this up too. Like leaders who rate high on self-awareness, they're shown to be much better at avoiding common thinking traps, those cognitive biases, especially when the stakes are high. It's more than just emotional intelligence.
More than just managing emotions.
Yeah, it leads to better strategic thinking, foresight.
So connecting that to everyday life.
Yeah.
If you cultivate this deep self-knowledge, you get better at managing your reactions. Like you can choose how to respond instead of just lashing out.
Exactly that. You create a little space between stimulus and response. And that ability, in turn, lets you build stronger, more authentic connections with people.
Yeah.
And it helps make sure your actions day to day actually line up with what you truly want, your deeper goals, instead of being pulled around by old habits or fears.
But let's be real, it's not usually a straight line, is it? Getting to know yourself like that.
Oh, definitely not.
Most of us run into hurdles, big ones sometimes, like fear of judgment, not just what others think, but our own inner critic being harsh.
That inner critic can be brutal.
Yeah, or maybe just deep-seated low self-esteem. Or sometimes, honestly, people just don't know where to even start with looking inward.
That's a really common feeling, and it raises a key point. What happens when those barriers are really strong? They create this gap, a disconnect between who you feel you are deep down and who you wish you could be or how you act.
It's like living with internal friction.
Yeah, exactly. Like your authentic self is sort of muffled by these inner blocks, and it stops you from really stepping into your full potential.
Okay, so how do we start breaking through? How do we cultivate that self-knowledge? You mentioned some proven paths.
Yes, the sources point to several. Mindfulness and meditation are obviously very powerful here.
We hear about those a lot.
We do. And beyond just paying attention, The real power is in cultivating what you might call non-reactive observation.
Okay, what's that?
It's the skill of noticing your thoughts, your feelings as they arise, but without immediately getting swept away by them or judging them, like, oh, there's that anxious thought again, rather than, I am anxious. It creates a bit of distance.
I see. That makes sense. What else?
Well, journaling and reflection, super effective. Just the simple act of writing things down. It helps you process tricky emotions. And really importantly, it can help you spot recurring patterns. Things in your thinking or behavior you might totally miss otherwise.
Like noticing, oh, I only feel this insecurity when X happens.
Exactly. You start seeing the triggers, the connections, and then there's art-based exploration.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
Creative expression, drawing, painting, music, whatever. It can tap into parts of yourself non-verbally. It bypasses those mental filters we all have, sometimes revealing things words can't quite capture.
That sounds fascinating. And you also mentioned experiential learning.
Yes, actively trying new things, pushing your boundaries a bit. And then, this is key, taking the time to really reflect on the experience. What did you learn? How did you feel? How did you react?
So it's the action plus the reflection.
Absolutely. That combination fosters huge growth. And it's particularly vital for people in, say, the helping professions, therapists, coaches.
Oh, right. Why specifically for them?
Well, integrating this kind of self-awareness into their work isn't just nice to have, it's really vital, essential even. Okay. Because understanding their own emotions, their own biases, tendencies towards projecting things onto clients or getting caught in countertransference.
Those professional hazards.
Exactly. Being aware of that stuff directly improves their ability to truly connect with and support their clients effectively. It helps maintain objectivity, offer more empathetic, tailored care. It seriously boosts their professional impact.
So this journey inward, it seems to have layers. You mentioned something called spiritual self-consciousness.
Yes. This is moving towards seeing yourself not just as this separate individual, but as part of a bigger picture, something interconnected.
Okay.
It's a perspective that tends to foster deeper emotional connections, a sense of motivation linked to life's bigger meaning or purpose. It goes beyond just personal achievement to a feeling of belonging in a larger whole.
That sounds quite profound. And then there was critical self-reflection. How is that different?
Critical self-reflection is more about rigorously examining your own beliefs and assumptions. Asking why you believe what you believe. Where did that idea come from? Is it really true?
Challenging your own foundations.
Exactly. What's powerful here is how it helps fight against confirmation bias.
Yeah?
Our tendency to just look for stuff that confirms what we already think.
Right. They all do that.
Yeah. So this critical reflection leads to a more inclusive view, a more strengths-based view, not just of yourself, but of other people too. It genuinely broadens your perspective.
Okay, but let's be honest. Getting past those really ingrained negative ways of seeing ourselves, that's hard work.
Incredibly hard sometimes.
And sometimes those negative views can lead to, self-sabotage, harmful behaviors. It can become a cycle.
It absolutely can. A really difficult cycle to break. But there's a powerful tool or maybe a capacity we can develop to help break free.
Okay, what's that?
It's this idea of cultivating spiritual intelligence.
Spiritual intelligence.
Yeah.
Is that about religion?
Not necessarily, no. It's more about your inherent ability to find meaning, to find purpose, and crucially, resilience, especially when things get tough.
Finding strength even in adversity.
Yes. When you cultivate this, you develop a stronger inner compass, basically. It helps improve mental health, navigate challenges with a bit more ease, maybe more grace, an inner sense of peace, even when the outside world is chaotic.
So it's like turning setbacks into fuel for growth.
That's a great way to put it. It's that capacity for transformation.
So wow, this whole journey inward, exploring these different facets, it really does bring us back to that ancient wisdom, doesn't it? Socrates saying, know thyself.
It absolutely does. It all seems to boil down to that, in a way.
Facing our inner enemy, those doubts, fears, limits, it's not really about defeating something in battle. It's more like understanding it, integrating it.
Exactly. Understanding and integrating that part of yourself. And that understanding, that's the real key. That's what unlocks profound growth and well-being.
What really strikes me is that this isn't just, abstract philosophy for a mountaintop somewhere.
No, not at all.
It feels very practical. Actionable, actually. A path anyone can take towards transformation.
It is. It's about shifting your stance, isn't it? Moving from feeling like a victim of your internal world to becoming its conscious architect.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? I guess it means the most important journey you can ever take. Well, it starts inside.
Start today.
Yeah, cultivate that curiosity about your own inner world. Make practicing self-awareness not some chore, but like a fascinating exploration.
Because when you truly know yourself, you don't just beat the enemy. You actually transform it. It becomes your ally.
Imagine the freedom in that. Really knowing yourself, working with yourself instead of against yourself. That sounds like a powerful place to be.